Welcome to today's video. Today we're dealing with a really big and personal project that I've personally been looking to work on, especially for my agency. I thought that if I'm gonna build it, why not share it with you? Why not share it with the people? And it will be a client feedback bot to save churn before it happens. So the overview is that the client feedback bot is an AI driven solution that is designed to proactively manage client relationships by identifying potential issues before they lead to churn, right? So if we're always aware of any problems or any feedback from the client, making sure communication is in place, making sure that the communication is on point. We want to be able to make sure that they are happy, and if they are happy, more money for us, better life. By leveraging advanced sentiment analysis tools, this bot ensures the client feedback is continuously monitored, allowing businesses to address concerns promptly and maintain strong client engagement. So, few features. Exactly what will the bot do? So it will schedule check-ins every 2 weeks. We want to make sure that every 2 weeks. Maybe you don't want to do 2 weeks, maybe by a monthly basis. It's fine. You'll be able to change it freely depending on you, completely depending on how your agency work, how your systems work. Just be able to need to change if you JSONs, JSON flows and all that. Sentiment analysis. Utilize AI models like Claude and ChatGPT to assess the sentiment and urgency of client responses. So we're gonna use Claude and ChatGPT to read the feedback alert system. So if we have any negative responses, we want to be able to alert the founder, make sure that they are aware of any negative feelings the client has towards any of the services provided, feedback looping, and then results. So record all client interactions and then resolve by catching client issues early. Businesses can prevent cancellations, ghosting, or churn. Want to make sure we're able to build a profitable agency, and by that we do have to reduce churn. Unfortunately, we do have to reduce churn. So yeah, let's get to the demo. Okay, so let's check out our demo real quickly. So right here we have our full complete client feedback agent. We're gonna need three things. Obviously, the workflow. Second thing, a back end. For the purpose of this video, we are going to be using Google Sheets, and then a questionnaire. So what we do have here is a trigger that times in daily. Really make sure that we're always getting in the next check-in date, so that the agent would be able to, in our first node over here, we're going to get all client details for that next check-in date. So if that next check-in date is today, then they will move forward, right? So as you can see here, we have a function to get the date for today following the format in our spreadsheet. Now, if we execute this, we'll be able to see that it brings us that client because their next check-in date fits the criteria. Now, what this node will do is this node will then take their email and then take the client name and project and then draft an email that we can quickly send them. Actually, let me use this one. This one seems much better than the one I had initially. So then we have that, and then we have the append, right? yeah. So then that will then, let me go back to my temp mail. This will then send that email to our temporary email. Let's check it out. And there we have it. You can currently see here, hi John, hope you're doing well. Want to check and see how everything's been going with the lead gen funnel. So if you have a moment, I'd love your quick feedback here. Give them a Typeform link and then tell them about us. And now in this flow, over here we have a Typeform trigger. So this one is just going to look for responses in for this Typeform. So let's just fill this in real quick. So the client's name is John Doe. The email, oh no, the email, let me just get it from the back end actually. Email, and then let's make it a bad experience, right? So let's say currently their project was a lead funnel, so the funnel does not convert. The VSL is not playing in the correct position. Position, and there are multiple spelling errors. Now, any other comments or feedback? Let's say I am looking towards a refund. That goes in. The Typeform would then get what we need. And now this is where this agent comes in. The purpose of this agent is to read the sentiment and think, right? So it's a professional client feedback analyst, would analyze everything from and then classify whether positive, neutral, or negative, justify, give us red flags, and then recommended response, right? So let's just do an output real quickly. Should be done any second now. And then done. So as we can see here, it has given us the sentiment negative client rated experience 2 out of 5. Basically, it told us everything that it's read, everything that it can analyze, and then a sentiment over here. And then this is where we have an if node. If this is negative, then it would alert us, and then it would craft an email body to alert the founder, you, or a marketing head or operations head, whichever that may be, on everything that's going on. So that just sent me an email to my personal email. As you can see here, it's sent it. Hi Brian, and I want to bring your attention to serious concerns raised by client during. Let me make it a. There we go. Client gave a 2.5 satisfaction. Gave us technical. There's a red flag. It is clear that they feedback that we have not met our usual service standards. I recommend we prioritize this case with urgency. So it really just alerts you, merges everything. So if it's positive, we still get that. And then this is the most important. because if you get this wrong, then it will not be automatic. So it creates next check update and update current date on sheet. So what this does is, right, it updates that next check update and the last feedback date. So then the last feedback date then changes to the current date, and the next check-in date becomes in two changes to 2 weeks from today, right? So we always want to make sure that that's always changing. That's the reason for these JSON formulas right here, because this is going to look at the check-in date. So we always want to make sure that the check-in date and the last feedback date is always updated, right? So yeah, that's the demo. Now let's look at how to make this, how it's made, a few things, right? We're gonna go on a little bit of a breakdown. Let's start with the top workflow. So the number one thing here is I've basically already shown you everything, but we're going to get a Google Sheets node, presidential, easy to do, and then resource within sheet get row. You want to make sure that you get the right sheet in row, and then the next check-in date. Follow this JSON and then put the date formula you currently have. Make sure you follow this date formula, right? If it's not in this date or in this formula, then it will not pick it up, right? So then we're going to come into this ChatGPT node, and then in here we're going to want to write a friendly professional check-in message for a client. So this is where it's going to write that message, give them that form. Every 2 weeks they'll get a new form. They'll get a new form. So and then just send it to their email. Straightforward. You already saw that in the demo. And then in this workflow, the purpose here is that we have a type form, so it's always watching for type form responses. As soon as it gets a response, it will then read the sentiment. Let's look at the prompt. It would then read the sentiment. Here's the responses from a feedback type form, and then here is the system's message. You are a professional client feedback analyst. Your output should be highly structured, and then we have analysis output. So we have sentiment, and then we have justify classifications 1 to 2 sentence rational. Red flags or concerns. So we wanted to list any issues, frustrations, or other areas where the client expresses doubt, dissatisfaction, or confusion. This I personally felt was necessary. I added it because some people just want that extra information, that extra bit. And then recommended response. And then we have a few rules like assume the client may be frustrated, use emotionally intelligent language, avoid vague responses, because since this will be sent to the founder or the lead of the department, we always want to make sure that they have as much information on the problem as possible to be able to respond accordingly, right? And then over here we have a simple if node so that we're able to dictate if the sentiment is negative, then it should immediately be sent to the founder, no questions asked. They should immediately be notified. Simply simple here, we take this context and we paste it in here, and then after that we have an is equal from the string, and then we have a simple negative, nothing else, nothing difficult. And then over here we'll be able to then craft an email. Simple prompt, your task is to take the sentiment and the feedback and write the client feedback to the founder of the agency, alerting him of the negative response. Client name, you can add it simply there, just like that. That's how simple it is to add and edit in. And then we have the templates, and then the feedback and the sentiment, so that we're always aware. And then would then come in here, and then it would give us and then send the email to us. And then this makes sure that the subject of the email will be feedback from John Doe. So that the person will always know which client to look for in the backend, right? And then we'd merge everything just so that everything is in one flow, and then we'd update the dates so that the client would then get a next form 2 weeks from now. Simple workflow. Easily, this will fix all your churn issues, make for better communication. And yeah, I think that's it for today. If you enjoyed this workflow, I'll put the link to it, to the template, in the description below. Follow for more workflows, and I'll see you soon.